So let's talk about a session in fullrmc Cloud. When you log into your machine, you would create a session for yourself, and that session would have what we call a session lock and a session shield and a session idle countdown. So I will talk about each and every one of those because those are very important attributes of a session. So before we start, I would like to log in first and create a session. So currently I am at the startup page or the landing page of your cloud account. Normally, I'm showing you here the URL, and I'm running here on the local host. Normally, that would be on the cloud, and it would your URL would be something like doctorwho.fullrmc.cloud. But now on the local host, that's fine. Let me log in using this account, and notice what's going to happen when I log in. So currently, I have no session here. So when I log in right away, my URL changes. So I was on the local host. What happened is fullrmc spawned a session for me can be on a different machine with a different URL, and that session has a session password and a session key. So those are very minor details. Let's not worry about them. But what I want you to know here is that you have a session lock and a session shield, and you have idle time countdown for the session. So this is a countdown that is, if expired, the session will automatically lock, and we'll explain what that means. And if the release countdown expires, your session will log out. So, and that's also very important. The lock and the release is a countdown for your idle time. By default, it's 15 minutes for the lock and 30 minutes for the release. Any admin on that account can change those countdowns for the machine. So let's suppose you are working on an experimental environment. You are not in your office and you're running certain fullrmc calculation, and for whatever reason you want to step away from your computer and you don't want anyone to mess up what you're doing. So what you can do is you can right away click on the lock, and now you lock your machine. You see here that the session lock is fully red because the machine is locked, and there's no more countdown for the lock technically. So no one can do anything on your machine anymore. If you are running a calculation, it will keep running, no problem there. You're not going to lose your session. Nothing would happen until you come back and you unlock the session using your own password. So, and now the session is unlocked, and I can do whatever I want to do on that machine. And you realize anything I'm doing, anytime I'm touching the web interface, the idle time countdown will reset. So now it's fully white. You see here, it's kind of starting to get greenish. We will leave it here a little bit while I explain the session shield, and then I will explain what that is. So you see how it is counting down here. Let it count down. So for the session shield, normally, because we are working on the cloud, you can share your session with with someone you're collaborating with, or with your scientific partners. fullrmc is a collaborative environment. It's not just a scientific tool, it's also a tool for collaboration. So I can technically take that URL for my session and share it with anyone else. So anyone else can be someone using a different web client. So let me come here, paste the URL that I shared. Let's say you are my collaborator and I shared that URL with you, and now you can have a look at my session and you can technically do anything you want to do until the session is locked. It can be locked by you because you have a handle on the session, or it can be locked by me, which is the owner of that session. So let's see what's going to happen here. Let me see. I lock this session from here. So you click that button, the session is locked. If I go to my account, also my account, the session is locked. So notice here the URLs here. Yeah, you're not going to see much because I'm clicking in there. So I'll unlock the session. It's unlocked here, and it's unlocked there as well. But here it is unlocked, but I didn't refresh. When I refresh, now I can do whatever I want to do. So let's say I shared that session with someone and I want to revoke the privilege for that person to look at my session. And I don't want to log out because I'm running some calculations. So what I should do is click on the shield, and that shield will regenerate a password for that session. And it will regenerate it and update it on your web client, so on your web browser, but it's not going to be updated on anyone else's. So I'm regenerating the shield here. You notice here that the password has regenerated, and here it says automatically session shielded, access denied. So with whom you shared your URL, with whom you shared your currently running session, they are shielded out. They cannot see it anymore. There's no way for them to do anything. They can refresh and nothing would happen. They are out. But your session is still running. All right. So these are very important properties of fullrmc on the cloud, helping you manage your sessions, helping you work and be safe. And even though you can work on an open setup, you can be on an experimental setup, on an experimental environment where many people can access the same computer. You cannot lock the computer that you're working from. You can actually step away from your computer, do whatever you want to do, and lock your session and leave, and no one can mess up your calculation. No one can do anything on that machine until you lock it out. Also, it's a collaborative environment. Remember that. It's a collaborative service where you can share your session with whoever you're working with, so they can take a look at your calculation. They can help you. They can actually download stuff, and then you can shield it out. And this is per session, because it's also very important to know that when you log out, your session is going to change. So let me do this. Let me come back to where we started and log back in again using another CPU. I can use as many as I want to. Notice what's going to happen here. That's a URL. What I will do is a user can create as many sessions as their machine allows it. So as a user now, I have 15 cores and I have unlimited privileges given to me by my admin. So I can technically occupy the 15 cores if no one is using them. And I can do that in a single session or in multiple sessions. So let me create another session in here. And I will use 5 cores in here. So, oh, I wrote something wrong here. All right, so currently as a user, I have 2 sessions and I can be running different calculation on each one of these sessions. So you notice here running sessions, I have 2, and totally used tokens in my sessions is 6. In one I had 5, and then another one I have 2. And wherever I am, I can switch between those sessions. So click here, now I am in this session. Remember here I have 1 token. Let me do something here. Let me run that. Optimization. Come here in this session. Configure user optimization. Let me use that. This is a theoretical optimization. I'm just clicking through this for tutorial purposes to show you what we can do. So this is now running. I'm running an optimization here. Am I? Yes, it is running. This is in this session. I can come back to the login page and it is running. Notice that. I can switch to the other session I created, and now I can do something else in here, and the other session is still running. So that's very important, and each session has a different password, a different URL. It is a different, it can be running on a different machine on the cloud. So whenever you log out, that URL will die forever. Your session will die forever. Your data won't die. Your data is safely saved on the cloud. Your account is safely saved on the cloud. Whatever you do is safely saved on the cloud, but your session will die when you log out and when you kill that session. So each session, notice what's going to happen here. The URL is not the same. All of that is different. So that's very important. And at any time now, for example, I am in the session where I'm running some optimization, I can be here. I can release that session and then release the 5 tokens, and I can log out. The difference is if I log out from all the sessions automatically. But if I want to release a session, I need to release it from here. If I log out, it tells me you are about to log out from account. Proceeding will result in ending all concurrent sessions. I'm not going to do that now. So that's very important. Before I do this, I'd rather stop my engine, even though everything should happen gracefully. But let's have a good way of doing things. And now I can log out easily. And now I have no more running sessions. If I had 5 running sessions and I hit log out, it will log me out from everything. If I want to close some sessions, I need to close it from here, release the current session. All right. I think that covers it. We covered what a lock is, we covered what a session shield is, and we covered what the countdowns are.